Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I get to do exactly that. Once a week, I tackle the Times Cryptic crossword live for you. So this puzzle here, let's have a look at the stats. Now, actually, I did look at the snitch rating before I turned on the webcam, and the snitch rating suggests that this puzzle, Friday is normally the hardest of the week in the Times, it suggested that this puzzle might be easier than usual, although the top time on the snitch was from Andrew Fisher, and it was not a quick time. Now you can see that many of these people, I would probably argue all of them in the top 10, are typists as opposed to real solvers. Andrew Fisher, there we go, 19th place. That is the first place on the snitch rating in terms of people that are recognised as being real, genuine solvers. And that is quite a long time. And I'm not seeing any of the usual suspects, actually. Where's Matthew, Marcus, Verlaine? I'm actually wondering whether there's going to be either a very difficult clue or a trap in this puzzle. Because I'm not seeing any of the usual... Derek Harrison, I know. I'm wondering whether there is a trap in the puzzle, and that's why I'm not seeing any of the usual suspects near the top. So that makes it quite exciting. Now, have I got my dictionary? I think I do, or not in the right place though. Let's put that in the right place. And a quick appeal: if you do enjoy these videos, please do like them. Please do perhaps drop a comment or even subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. The algorithm doesn't like our cryptic crossword content as much as it likes our Sudoku content for reasons we don't understand. We absolutely love solving. We love cryptic crosswords. And we have to teach this naughty algorithm that these puzzles are really worth its attention. So perhaps consider it, obviously only if you do enjoy the videos. Anyway, with that said, let's get cracking. It's this one, isn't it? And let's see what we shall see. Is it in the right place? It is. Let's go. One across. Drunk. I'm already thinking anagram. As McGinty, frequenting bars. Well, as McGinty is 9 letters. Now my nose is starting to run. Why is that happening? I don't know. I hope I'm not getting ill. Frequenting bars is going to be... I've got that, I think, actually. I mean, that's great. That's a great clue. Sorry, I'm just worried that my nose is running, and that's not going to be conducive to solving the puzzle. Right, but I have got this. Okay, so let's talk about the basic structure of a cryptic crossword clue. All cryptic crossword clues contain a straightforward definition of the answer. So in theory, at least, we could reduce this puzzle to being a quick crossword simply by reading the clues correctly. So if we take, I don't know, let's just pick a clue that's shortish. Small piece of land has a tenant. One of those words will be the definition, or two of them. It might be small piece or a tenant. The definition is almost always at the start or the end of the clue. So all we have to do is be good at reading the clue and detecting which side of the clue is the definition, and then using the rest of the clue as the wordplay that will give us the answer. So when you see a word like drunk, that's an anagram indicator. It's saying treat the next few letters in a drunken way, so they're sort of all over the place. That's the idea anyway. And as McGinty, obviously, that is 9 letters. And frequenting bars, what you may say, why is there a question mark? Well, if I tell you the answer, it might be helpful in terms of why there is a question mark. I think the answer to this clue is gymnastic. Now, if you don't understand why, have a think about how gymnastic could be defined by frequenting bars, question mark. And I think the idea here is that there's 2 bars, aren't there? There's parallel bars in gymnastics, and there's the high bar. So people who might frequent bars in a sort of cryptic, punny sense are gymnasts. So gymnastic would be a description of those people. So I think, so the question mark here is saying, think about the word bars in a bit of a cryptic way. Now this is a fantastic answer because it gives us so many starting letters, as well as a Y in an odd position. I'm already thinking pangram as well. Anyway, let's go. One down. Unfortunately, that could be an anagram indicator. Morgues are ultimately this. This is right. Okay. This is a very nice clue. But this is a very unusual clue, and it sort of goes against what I've already told you, which is that the definition is almost at the start, almost always at the start or the end of the clue. Here, it's sort of mixed in with the wordplay. It's a sort of what we could describe technically as a semi and lit clue. So let's read the clue and see if we can understand what's going on. Now, unfortunately, a bit like drunk, is saying treat the letters of morgues in an unfortunate way, i.e. anagram. R ultimately is a bit vicious. That's saying take the ultimate letter of the word R. R's ultimate letter is its last letter, the E there. So we need an anagram of morgues plus an E to give this question mark. Well, what does that mean? It means that actually we need to read the words of the clue. Morgues are ultimately... So what's a word that could describe what morgues are? And the answer is gruesome. So you can see that actually if we just focused in on the word this, that's not a definition of the word gruesome. We need to read the rest of the clue, including that wordplay, which is why it's a very unusual clue. So don't worry too much if you're like, whoa, that one seems complicated. It is a bit complicated. But look, now we're on a great run. We've got one down and one across. We've got loads of checking off initial letters. Let's try two down. What family does at funeral with second container for ashes? So we've had gruesome and now we've got funeral. What family does? Mourn, I suppose. Yeah, okay. So, again, can we cut the clue in the correct place? And I cut it after the word funeral. So if this had been a 5-letter word in a quick crossword, and I'd read the definition as what family does at funeral, beginning with M, 5 letters, mourn. That would have been a very natural answer. So once we think of the word mourn, all we have to do then is justify it. Now sometimes, especially if you're new to cryptic crosswords, justification is really difficult because you won't be used to all of the nomenclature that exists in these puzzles. But let's look at this. We've got second. Now second is mo, believe it or not. And that is because if you said to somebody just a mo, you'd be saying exactly the same thing as just a second, wouldn't you? So mo is a synonym for the word second here. Now, this brings me to another point. Sorry, it's a bit of a download, this, a bit of a brain dump. But having a bank in your head of short synonyms for things is going to be very helpful. So second and mo being synonymous, that's something you'll just pick up over time. And a container for ashes, well, those of you who enjoy your cricket will know that the ashes are kept in an urn, in a cricketing sense at least, but some ashes are just kept in urns anyway. So that's going to be the answer there. Now, is this usury or something like that, or usual? Oh no, hang on. What's seen regularly in guava, ugly, as fleshy part? Okay. Oh, okay. I mean, I do know the answer to this. I'm just trying to decide whether I dare to guess what actually which part of the body this is. But anyway, here the definition is a fleshy part. So if you can think of a fleshy part that fits in, well done. That is the answer. But the way to get this from the wordplay, and that's by far the easier way to get this clue, what's seen regularly in? Now, if you see this sort of construction, what's found regularly, or you might see oddly, or evenly, or something like that, regularly occurring within, it's saying take either the even numbered letters or the odd numbered letters from the string. So either positions 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 in the string, or the positions 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. Now if we take the even number of letters in the string guava ugly as, you can see spelt out U, V, U uvula. And I'm going to guess that is the uvula the thing at the back of your throat that sort of hangs down? It might not be. Let's look at the dictionary. I'm not changing the answer. I'm very comfortable the answer's correct. So let's just see. Oh, suspended from the palate over the back part. Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought it was. Okay, so I was not completely inept there. So anyway, that's going to be the answer there. And let's try 11 across. Senator, I'm going to guess without looking at the clue. Genuine error that's serious by reported visionary. Genuine. Oh, okay. So this is lovely. Yeah, it is lovely because this plays on our inability. And when I say our inability, I really mean my inability, but I think it probably will go for more than just me. Our inability to read connected words separately from one another. So when we read genuine error that's serious by reported visionary, it is, I think, very difficult for our brains to split up the word genuine from the word error. And yet that is what we need to do to solve this clue, because actually the answer is a synonym for the word genuine. And once you have that thought, the clue becomes easy. But it's hard to do that. It's hard to have that thought until you get used to reading these clues. But if we do cut it after genuine, can we think of a 7-letter word that means genuine, S blank N blank 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 blank? Yes, sincere. And again, then it's just a case of, well, can we justify it? That's serious by reported visionary. Error that's serious. Well, an error that's serious would be a sin. You know, it would be something very wrong that you did. That would be described as a sin, as in a deadly sin, perhaps. Now, what on earth is seer then doing? C-E-R-E. Well, think about the word S-E-E-R, a seer. How would we define a seer like that? Well, they would be a visionary. A seer is somebody who sees the future. So, what's the word reported doing? Well, if we hear the word seer, if it was reported to us so we could hear it, it would sound exactly the same as this, seer, but it's spelt differently. And this comes up in cryptic crosswords a lot, homophones for things. So sin and then a homophone for S-E-E-R gives C-E-R-E, and that gives us the answer. So far, I'm finding this crossword to be very nice, but not difficult. And therefore, my belief that there is going to be a trap answer or a horrible clue, which no one can solve, is still there. I'm going to go for amazement here. Let's look at 3 down. Awareness. It's not amazement, it's awareness. Perception, awareness, of a conflict. Okay, so what's the word of doing here? Now, some people, and I'm one of them, like to try to read cryptic crossword clues like mathematical equations. In other words, there can often be a word that does the duty of the equal sign in a mathematical equation. So the way this clue works is we've got perception, which is like the answers. Let's say that's y, equals, which is of, because we're making the answer, the y, out of the following equation. So y equals a conflict. Well, a conflict is going to be war. Now, I haven't looked at the rest of the clues, so I'm hoping we'll be able to get... Well, actually, it's fine, isn't it? With English can be E. I say this every week, but it bears repetition. You can't just abbreviate any word in a cryptic crossword clue to its initial. You may think that, especially when you're starting to solve them. You may think, well, this is ludicrous. Every word I'm coming across seems to be abbreviated. No, it has to be supported by the dictionary. And if we look under E in the dictionary, boom, we will find English. There we go. So it's specifically labelled as a valid abbreviation in the dictionary. And that all goes over, it's a down clue, so over the top of Loch Ness, we put the A, the war, and the E to give awareness. And that's the answer there. So where should we go now? Let's try this one. Composer wanting end, mostly minor. My first thought there was trivial for minor, but that's wrong, isn't it? Because that E is not helping us. Composer's slightly scary. The Times will not shy away from some pretty obscure, in my view, classical composers. Composer wanting end, mostly minor. I don't know this one. Oh, I was on a good run then. I wanted to see if I could carry on solving them all without break, but I'm not seeing that one. I'm sorry. Let's try 5 down. Serious defeat embraced by conservative, one in the soup. Okay. That's okay, we can do this one. Again, you see the question mark at the end. That should be ringing alarm bells, I suppose. Now I don't think this one really does it merit a question mark? Perhaps. So the definition here is one in the soup. So can you think of something? You might think chicken, for example. You get chicken soup, don't you? But actually it's something crunchier than chicken. The answer is, I think, crouton. That's certainly something you'd find in the soup, isn't it? Now, how does it work? Serious defeat. Well, a rout is a serious defeat, and that's embraced by con, which is a valid abbreviation for conservative. So it's not very difficult once we, especially with the starting C, it's not too bad, is it? Let's try 13 across. Requiem. I'm immediately thinking Mass, and what it follows might do for us. That might do for us. Mass euthanasia or something. That might do for us is an expression for sort of extinction. Mass extinction? I don't know. Mass extinction. Is it that? Requiem is a mass, and then we put that with what it follows. Well, what does mass follow? I suppose, is it in the funereal sense? If something goes extinct, you might hold a mass for it. That might do for us. I think, I'm not sure actually. I'm slightly worried about the word extinction there. It seems like, I'm not sure why. I mean, extinction seems to me to be a bit too dramatic to just have a mass after it. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant about that one. Mass, I don't know. Let's leave it there, but I'm aware that is a slightly strange answer. Let's try 14. I'm pretty sure about the mass part of it. I'm just not sure about the extinction part of it. It left a chap cold coming to a Spanish city. It left a chap cold coming to a Spanish city. Well, I'm just wondering whether mass is wrong now. I must be right. What do I think about this clue? Well, I'm not sure. I think it might be the name of a Spanish city. Yeah, okay, I've now got it. But I actually needed to think hard about, do I know any Spanish cities that could fit this? Now, the advantage I had was the words 2A here, believe it or not. I know this sounds mad, but here is a very good tip for cryptic crosswords. In a good, well-written cryptic crossword clue, and those are the ones you will find in the Times newspaper, there won't be anything superfluous. So, let me read this clue again to you. It left a chap cold coming to Spanish city. Now the clue is not that. It's it left a chap cold coming to a Spanish city. So why is that A there? Is it necessary for the definition? If the definition was Spanish city, how does that differ from a Spanish city? It doesn't, does it? So that A, I think, well, I suspected, was there because it was necessary for the wordplay. So we were going to have to put it left a chap cold coming to a, i.e. A. Now, all of a sudden, it's starting to be slightly, it looks like it might be a Spanish word now, doesn't it? Something like senora or senorita or something, ending in A. I still didn't have it at this point. Now, the way I got it is going to annoy you. Because it would annoy me, especially if you're watching this as somebody new to Cryptic Crosswords. What I'm about to say is so ludicrous. I appreciate it's ludicrous, and I'm sorry. But what if you have it in a sort of social situation? This is something I've never been said to have. If you have it, you have sex appeal. And believe it or not, sex appeal, if we will look it up in the dictionary in a moment, can be abbreviated to SA. If we go to SA in the dictionary, let's see. Oh dear, now it's not going to be there. It should be there. Oh, it really isn't going to be there. Oh, there it is there. Sex appeal. Okay, there we go. Sex appeal. So, it here is saying SA. Left, that's L. A, see the A in the clue? It left A. Well, that A is there because it doesn't say it left chap cold. It left a chap, man. Cold, if you saw that on a tap, you'd know it meant C, wouldn't you? Or saw C on a chap, you know it meant on a chap. Or C on a cat, C on a tap, you'd know it meant cold. So we get Salamanca, which is a Spanish city. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? It's an interesting clue, that, because I can totally appreciate if you're new to these and you look at, I mean, that clue is going to seem unbelievably difficult. Unbelievably difficult. We're about to get visited by an aeroplane, and I apologise, but that is how the clue works. And just remember, if you see the word it in a cryptic, what is it that Simon doesn't have? That'll get you the answer. 15 down. What's blue and quite sour when cooked? Okay. Nice clue, isn't it? What's blue and quite sour when cooked? That's a clue. That's what I would call a beautiful example of a cryptic crossword clue, because it almost reads like a joke, doesn't it? But it reads so naturally. It's very hard to believe as you read that it is a cryptic crossword clue, and yet it is. The key here is the word cooked, which is doing exactly the same function as what we saw earlier with drunk and was it unfortunately. So we need to cook some letters. Now we need 9 letters. So but it says, doesn't it, quite sour, that's 9 letters, when cooked. So we're going to cook the letters of quite sour to create something that means blue, or a type of blue. Now, not too difficult. Now the interesting thing about that is, look, we've got a Q, we've possibly got an X, we've got a V, we've got this funny gymnastic thing. So now I will be very surprised if we don't see a J in this puzzle. I think this might be a pangram, i.e. it will feature all the letters of the alphabet once each at least. Now, where should we go? Should we go to this one? It would be a good one to get, wouldn't it? Features editor, plastic surgeon. Yeah, okay, that's so lucky. I mean, I've just... Features editor, I know if you're not used to cryptic crosswords, you'll be thinking about newspapers completely logically and correctly. But when I think of features editor, my brain goes, oh, features, facial features, if you edit them, you might be a plastic surgeon. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be in some way the answer. Plastic surgeon. Let's see why. In press running after latest in pictures. Latest in pictures. I mean, I've got most of this. latest in pictures is the latest letter in the word pictures, which is S. I think that's this S here. And then press is urge. If you urge someone, you press them. And running, if something is running, if you left the tap running, you left it on. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about there is what plastic is doing. I'm really not sure what plastic is doing. Hang on. Features editor. In press. In press. So sorry. Hang on. What's going on? Where's the word? Why is the word plastic? Clued at all here? It must be clued, and it is going to be clued. I just have to understand why. Features editor. Plastic surgeon. In press. That must be urge, isn't it? Running. After. Running. So I don't understand. I don't understand. There's something cleverer than I'm realizing. I'll come back to it because I'm sure it's the right answer. I just don't understand it, and that is a cause for concern often. And if it had been a shorter answer, I'd have been very worried. But it's so long, and it's so right with features editor. I can't think it's a. There's a chance it's that this first word is not plastic. Let's just check 18 down. Okay. Resigns after disturbing admission. Well, again, we're getting used to this, aren't we? What could disturbing mean if we're thinking about it in a cryptic crossword wordplay sense? It could mean an anagram. So if we disturb the word resigns, we should be able to generate a word that means admission. It's quite a technical word, but an ingress is an admission. So that's going to be right. Let's try and check this one. 19 down. Problem with a carrier missing out the last island. I'm thinking of Sumatra, just because I was thinking of islands that I knew that might be 7 letters long. Now, a mathematical problem would be a sum, wouldn't it? A carrier. Oh, a tray. A tray missing out the last letter. So that gives Sumatra, which is, I think, an island in Indonesia. So now we'll try this one, 23 across. Playwright that's unpleasant during address to Queen. Oh, that's okay. I have got that, but that's lucky. Okay, so we can think here about this. We are looking for a 7-letter playwright. The way to get this, or the way I got it, was thinking about what does address to Queen mean? Well, how might you address a Queen? Now, in England, at least, you would call the Queen Ma'am. M-A-A-M. So, can we now think of a playwright? I just about can if I put more. I want to say Somerset Maugham. Is that right? Anyway, ugh. UGH. That would be, if you saw that in a comic, you would know it meant that's unpleasant. Ugh. So that's what that's doing there. It's sort of an interjection. Now, what's this going to be? No, I don't know. Vital I connect in conjunction. Vital I connect in conjunction. I haven't got this, sorry. Vital. It's something like animated. If you're vital, you're full of life, aren't you? That would be That would be quite nice. I think that's right, because I think the way it works is I is this I here. If you connect with somebody, you mate with them. and that all goes in a conjunction, and a conjunction in a linguistic sense is and. The word and is a conjunction, so animated. I think that feels right. 24 down. Game. Oh, there's that funny game Helmer, I'm thinking might be the answer here. Oh, is it Halmer? Oh yes, I think I have misspelt this before. Prince Hal is often a prince, as in Henry, I think. Or Prince Hal might have been in Shakespeare, I think. Over how he addressed Mary de Beaune. Maybe he called her Ma? I don't know. Halmer. I think it's going to be the answer there. That is referring to something, I know not what, but something literary or historic. Could be either. But maybe she was his mother. In which case, Ma would seem an appropriate thing. But Halmer is a game. And I like that. So that suggests this is islet. Okay, small piece of land, as in a small isle, is an islet. Has a tenant, is let. If something is let, it has a tenant. Very nice. So what's that then? I should be able to get this without even looking at the clue, and I'm not thinking of any word that fits. Bobbins, let's look at the clue. Who helps with setting leg and part of arm? Who helps with setting leg? Who helps with setting leg and part of arm? What? Is this part of a gun? Part of an arm? An arm would be a word for a weapon, wouldn't it? Who helps? I'm sorry, I've got a complete blank in my brain about this one. The answer is going to be spare hand. Who helps with setting leg? Who helps with setting a leg? What's a leg? A stage hand. There we go. Got it. Okay, that's a really good clue. That's a really good clue, because the image it conjures in your head, or at least it conjures in my head, was a doctor helping to set a broken leg or a broken arm. And then once that goes in your head, or goes in my head, it's so difficult for my brain to just throw that away and say, no, do not think in those terms. Go back to first principles. You've got to break the clue apart. What's the definition? And now the definition is who helps with setting, but then you need to have the insight, which I didn't have for ages, that it's not setting in a sort of gelling sense. It's setting the scene in the theatre. And then the way I eventually stumbled into the answer was thinking of synonyms for leg. And I thought of a stage of a race. And then part of the arm is a hand. So stage hand is obviously somebody who helps. So where do we go now? Let's try that one maybe. Hat that's key for Oscar in city. Oh, goodness. Homburg, I think, is a type of hat. No. Oh no. Hang on. This is it. Is this an outrage? Oh, okay. Now, is that an A or an O? So what? Oh, that is a genuinely difficult. I don't know. This is actually. This is a tricky one, but this is the problem. Let me explain. Now let's ask the question here. Is the definition in this clue hat, or is it city? And that is very, very important, because obviously if it's hat, it's Homburg, and if it's city, it's Hamburg. Now let's try and understand how the clue works. The clue is referring to a substitution. Hat that is key for Oscar. So that could be saying replace the O in the city. No, it's saying replace the A of Hamburg, A being a musical key, for the O, because Oscar is the international radio code word for the letter O in the city. But it could be hat that has key for Oscar, to give, if that in is doing the duty of equals. It works both ways. This is why so few people have got it right. Well, actually, it's interesting. I think lots of people have got it wrong because they've guessed, or possibly they've realised that it's ambiguous and they haven't submitted their time on the leaderboard because they've said, "Okay, I know there's a problem here with this clue." Hat that has. What would I guess? If this was if it was a competition, I think both have to be accepted. But what do I think is more likely? I think I would go Homburg. I think. Hat that is, rather than that has, feels more natural. That is key A for O in the word Hamburg, the city of Hamburg. But it does work both ways. I mean, it is just Hobson's choice. But that is... I'll go with Homburg, and we'll see. 20 down. Disorganised mob, one involved in demonstration. Disorganised... What's that going to be? Chaotic or havoc or something. Disorganised mob, one involved in oh no, I've got this. Okay. One involved in a demonstration. Again, it's trying to make you think of somebody, at a demo in the streets, isn't it? But what is somebody who demonstrates something to somebody really doing? They're actually just showing. That a demonstration is somebody showing somebody something, isn't it? And so the word shower is what we need here. Now, if I say shower slightly differently, it might make sense. If I say the word shower as shower, a disorganised mob is certainly a shower, isn't it? So that's going to be right there. Now let's try that one. Unusual trace elements may do this. Unusual. Trace. Oh, react. Okay, that's just an anagram. There's quite a few anagrams in this one. So unusual is doing the duty of drunk in that earlier clue. So we anagram the word trace. Elements may do this. Well, some elements are reactive. So in a sort of chemical sense. 22 down. Lift small alien bug. The word alien is a bit like the word film. If you see film in a cryptic crossword, it's quite often ET. I mean, cryptic crossword writers must have been delighted when ET came out, because it allowed... ET is such a common construction, a sort of, what's it called, a diagram or something within a word that it's a useful thing. So alien is probably ET. Lift small alien bug. Emmet or something? Is a bug an emmet? Isn't that what Cornish people refer to tourists as emmets? E-double-M-E-T. I might be wrong about that. Lift. Exalt? No, that hasn't got... I don't know. Let's just put emmet in. How is emmet justifiable? So if bug was emmet, that's got alien ET, and we'd have to lift small, MME. Lift. Lift, it's a down clue, so if I lift something I would reverse it. So small, why is small MME? MME I think is an abbreviation for mademoiselle. That doesn't mean small. I'm not sure actually, I don't know that one. Let's just have a look at this one. Cried, wept after snakes. Exposed to, okay, windswept, exposed to blast. So I don't know. Oh, wines. So that's lovely. That's a really good clue. Cried after snakes, exposed to blast. I mean, cried, wept, snakes, wines, and the way that wines wept becomes windswept is beautiful noting of language. Okay, so Emmett is wrong. Okay, well, that's good because I didn't understand it. So why is this right then? What is it? Let's firstly work out what it is. Oh no, I've spelt Hamburg wrong. It's got a U, hasn't it? Homburg and Hamburg. Sorry, that was just me getting obsessed with this, but now it's going to be upset, which is it's interesting, isn't it? That you can still, with the E there, you can sort of come up, Bug, Emmett? I can look up Emmett now with impunity. Is Emmett in Cornwall a tourist? So one source of my ignorance has exposed another small part of my knowledge. Now, let's go here. Oh, you're all going to have been shouting at me about Homburg, aren't you? And Hamburg. I'm sorry. Well, it must be upset. Okay, bug. If something bugs you, it upsets you. Now, why? If you lift small... Okay, lift. To up is to lift as a verb, I think. S, if you saw that on a T-shirt label, you know it meant small. Alien, ET. So upset, and we're all good. So we have done the bottom half, although this letter is obviously controversial. Let's try 12 across. Little Jeremy Fisher. Oh, Tabitha Twitchit. I think I referred to this in a previous video when I talked about the evils of Tabitha, of like weird Beatrix Potter characters appearing in Cryptic Crosswords, and it was Tabitha Twitchit I couldn't remember, which also has an absolutely appalling spelling. I think it might end in double T, I can't remember. But anyway, let's come. Jeremy Fisher, another Beatrix Potter creation, I think. Little Jeremy Fisher story about day pond half disappeared. I mean, I've read that appallingly, but Little Jeremy Fisher. Jeremy Fisher was a frog. So a little Jeremy Fisher would be a tadpole. That's what we're going to need here. Now, why? Tail is story. And that's going to have DPO in the middle of it. Day for D. Pond, half of pond. So it is tadpole. Little Jeremy Fisher story about day pond half disappeared. So it's tail around D for day. PO, literally half of the word pond, has disappeared then, and we're lucked into the answer. Now, should we go for 7 down before we go for 6 across? No, let's go 6 across. If we get 6 across, we're golden, aren't we? So, man seizing power in country. My first thought there was Nepal. But Neil, I wouldn't normally spell Neil like that, but maybe you can. P for power, that's fine. That is a valid abbreviation. Spain? Don't like that. Don't like that. That might. Oh, hang on. That might be a man's name somewhere. But what else could we have for a country? 5-letter countries with a P in them somewhere. Let's just give it a moment. There are a lot of countries in the world. Egypt? No, I don't. Well, I mean, Egypt is an example, but there's no way that that's a man. I'm putting around the edge of that. I'm doing a quick alphabet trawl in my Japan. No. It's amazing how many there are. O-P-Q. I mean, Japan, we do need that J, don't we, if we're going to have a pangram. It's not Japan, but we do need it still. I haven't come up with another good example, so maybe we're going to have to do these ones. Let's have a look at this. Lava, aphid, a lizard, periodically rejected. Okay, well, I don't know this yet, but this is going to be another of these clues. What was the one we looked at? Was it uvula? What's seen regularly in guava ugly as? I think this is the same sort of thing. So we're going to look at the string of letters, maybe the whole string, a lizard, and we're going to periodically reject letters from that string. So we're going to take out either the even numbered letters or the odd numbered letters. Now, if we do that, we can create... Oh, goodness me. Oh, yeah, that's going to be some weird nymph, isn't it? Sort of... Yeah, a naiad. That is some weird... larva, as in it's a young insect, naiad. I'm not changing it, so I'm prepared to look it up. I can't remember what it is, but it's something weird like that. A spring nymph, an aquatic larva of the dragonfly. There you go. So that's a very strange word, but it's a very strange word, but clued very fairly, because you can't really get it wrong once you understand how the wordplay works. So Nepal is probably right, isn't it? And we are looking for that weird spelling of, or what I consider to be a weird spelling of Neil. Now, what's that then? What could attract a greater number to get back in ring? What could attract a greater number to get back in ring? I don't know. I haven't got a clue what that's getting at. My first thought was it's some sort of magnet. What could attract? And then I was thinking lodestone for some reason, but that's not right. It begins with P, this answer. What could attract a greater number is more. What could attract? So I like that. To get back in ring. Oh, I don't know. That's a worry as well. Okay, let's try 8 down. Larder. Fat is lard. English, E. King is R. Now, king is R, and that's a weird one, because queen is also R, and that is from Latin abbreviations. So if you look up R in the dictionary, which we'll do in a moment, you'll find Rex, which is Latin for the king, and Regina, which is the queen. So if you do see king or queen, I mean, at the moment, king also could be our current king, CR, Charles Rex. But let's go and have a look at R, just so that we can convince ourselves this is true. There, Regina, Rex, Queen, King. Right, let's try that one. Professional could be pro, couldn't it? As in a pro-am, a professional and amateur. So pro, attack always, profiteer, a fit. If you have a fit of something, you have an attack of it. So profiteer for always, make a quick killing. Profiteer. So what's this then? Oh, this is Tippet or something. Was there a composer called Tippet? Wanting, end, mostly minor. Oh goodness, I'm not sure. And what's this one? Phenomenon? Pheromone? A pheromone? That's some sort of weird thing that attracts things, isn't it? It's a hormone. Pheromone? What could attract a greater number? Oh, a greater number is more, is getting back in first. Beautiful. What a beautiful clue. What could attract a greater number to get back in the ring? I mean, the clue seems to be suggesting that we'll get more people into, into boxing, get them back into the ring. But it's not to do with that. It's what could attract is a pheromone, and then a greater number more goes backwards in phone. If you ring somebody, you phone them up. So we've got to get the composer and then the controversy. Well, the controversy we've thought about, so we just have to do the composer. So is it Tippett? I think there was a composer called Tippett, like that. But I mean, it's not a very nice selection of letters, is it? Am I missing a more obvious answer there? Composer wanting end, mostly. Minor. What's going on here? You see, composer wanting end suggests we need the name of a composer, and we're going to take the last letter off. The composer is going to want for his end letter, or her end letter. Mostly minor. What does that mean? I don't know. Mostly. What's mostly doing in this? Oh dear, this is bad actually. I don't know what this is getting at all. Composer. Oh, I know I'm being slow here, because this is something. There was no J in the puzzle, was there? Oh, unless extinction is wrong. Oh, that's a bad thought, isn't it? Requiem and what it follows. It follows. Oh, I don't know. That might do for us. Mass evacuation. I don't know. Okay, so let's treat that T with a little bit of circumspection. A composer wanting end mostly. Minor. I mean, what other words fit this construction? If it did end in T, I don't think there's a great deal that fits here. Top something? Wanting end, mostly minor. End mostly. I'm so sorry, I don't understand. End mostly minor. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the Hamburg clue. Maybe this is also a problem for people. I mean, it's not going to be a problem if you know a composer that fits this construction. I'll go back to Tippett. I don't even know why I think Tippett. I don't know where that's come from in my brain. I can't think of the first name of a composer called Tippett. For some reason, my brain went to Tippett. Now, if it was Tippett, how could that work? Composer. So that's going to be the definition. Wanting end mostly. Oh, mostly minor, petty. Ah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that word wanting is evil here. The end of something is the tip of it, isn't it? and then most of the word minor, most of the word petty. So that gives tip plus pet, tippet. Now, what is the word? The constructor wants us to read the word wanting as an equal sign, I think, unless the composer was called Wanting. But if the composer was called Wanting and his name was Wanting Tippet, then that W needs to have, that were in Wanting needs to have a capital letter. You can't really play around with capitalization to that extent, in my opinion. There's a part of me that would love there to be a composer called Wanting Tippet, just because it's such a great name. But Robert Tippet, why does that bring about? I think I've thought of Robert Tippet in one of these videos before. He used to do the goo bash in the school playground. Wanting end. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what wanting is doing. But let's submit this and see whether Homburg or Hamburg was correct. Interesting. That's the other reason that's interesting, is that I put the answer in there that I would have been most comfortable submitting, and I got it wrong. So I wonder if that's what everyone else has done. That's interesting, isn't it? So let's just read this clue again and try and see why it's better that the answer is Hamburg. I don't think it is better, but let's just try and understand. So you have to read the apostrophe S as that has. Hat that has key for Oscar. Oh, hang on, have I... Hat that has key for Oscar in city. So we're saying the answer is Hamburg. I don't understand why. A hat that has key for Oscar. Oh, I'm going round in circles in my brain now. I mean... yeah, hat that has key for Oscar. So Homburg has A for its O to give Hamburg. Yeah, I mean, it's just totally ambiguous. That's my view. Let's actually, are there going to be any comments on this? 15 comments. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. It was a deliberate decision that I finally put Homburg instead of Hamburg, having twice changed my mind. I felt the clue suggested hat rather than city. It was unclear. It could have been either. I agree. Tom Stubbs, another that fell for the hat trick. Still easier than today's quick cryptic. Yeah, okay, interesting. I wonder if anyone is attempting to justify that this is not a possible answer. I'd be interested. Anyway, it's a great puzzle. Notwithstanding this clue, which I do think is a bit dodgy. I liked pheromone very much. I liked wines wept. I liked Groose. I mean, I like many of the clues actually. Yeah, and we learnt about tippet. So people can tell me whether there is a wanting tippet. Anyway, sometimes when we do these, I like to have a quick go at the quick cryptic, which apparently, according to Tom Stubbs, is very difficult today. Let's have a quick look at the stats on this so we can... do I recognise any? I think Chindit might be Andrew Fisher again. Oh, Verlaine coming in there with 245. So it's obviously wasn't difficult for Verlaine. Matthew Marcus. Anyway, let's have a go. I will do a race on this one. Here we go. Let's get cracking. Okay, gather graduates captivated by a mass is the answer there. Young animal to intimidate. Cow calf, I think, maybe. Aquarium. Judge coming down on US Guitar Hero Classical. Oh, okay, Ajax is the answer. Bender maybe with small section, shandy or something, I don't know. Possible alternative to plastic. Monitor we hear. Don't know. Wit. Not what? Wit. Top grade. Drug. Shaped like a star. Asteroid. Some of aircraft's flyers unhappy initially. See about delay. Oh, goodness, I don't know. Let's try that one. Unaware? Yes. Let's try this one. Roman emperors past it. Usually not all there. Titus is a hidden. We didn't have a hidden in the main one. Gloomy. Dicky calls her up. That's an anagram. Gloomy, yeah. I don't know. Note bar contains unknown nut. Not getting it. Maniac? No, I don't know. Mob around Michigan playing roulette, perhaps gaming gang. Yeah. Organised lovely party game. Bagatelle is what I wanted to put there for some reason. I don't know why. Alter morning amend. AM end. Country junkie periodically grabbed shower or shower. That is Ukraine, actually. See the old repeatedly accepting unknown visual defects, something like evil eye or something. It's something I don't know. Home recording, originally tense and awkward. Inept, in EPT. Right, let's go back over here then. Possible alternative to plastic. Monitor. Check. Oh, a check. Yes, okay. Like that. Some of aircraft's fuselage or something, is it? I always spell fuselage wrong. Unhappy initially. Oh, I don't want to see about delay. Lag. Fuselage. There, see, look, I was going to misspell that. Let's try that one. Oh, ending in I. Cleaner. Belgian city. Oh, goodness. Char is a cleaner. Meeting the king in France. Roy. Leroy? Charleroi? I've vaguely heard of that. Okay, let's try 12. Most importantly, above all, car pioneer left to probe brake going round New Zealand. Someone bends, isn't it? Car pioneer left to probe brake going round. Is it Carl Benz or something? Might be. What's that? Voltarol or something. Organised lovely party game. Voldemort. I don't know. What's that one? Note bar contains unknown nut. Brazil. Bar contains unknown. Rail for bar. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so what's that one? Oh, colouring dye, presumably. Lazy. 16. Swear getting awful job. Ure is the Yorkshire. Swear. Obdure? Golly, this is not easy. Something ball for the party. Volleyball. Oh, it's just an anagram of lovely. Okay, now I've managed to misspell it. Right, let's try that one. Quintet 5. Loud. Yeah. Former partner blocks dry text. Okay, and then what? Oh, this is the anagram. Calls her up. Gloomy. Something surreal at the end. What is it? Sepulchral. That's ridiculous. In the quick cryptic. Sepulchral. A bender, maybe, with small section. Snake bite. Goodness me, that is a that is a monster. That is a look how many weird letters are in that crossword. We've got to have a quick look at that. Is it right? Ah, it is. 12, not too bad considering I'm typing over a microphone, etc. Not too bad. But look how many weird letters we've got. The J, the X. Who's it by? Breadman. W. Another X, a Z, a Y. It just looks, if you just if you take a step back from it, all the letters look weird to me. But there were a number of very funny clues in that. Sepulchral was a very big surprise. And Carl Benz making appearance. Charles Leroy. I mean, this is not trivial. It really isn't. And I nearly spelt fuselage wrong. There was just that little alarm bell. Why do I think it's fuselage? Has it got two spellings, or am I just a total numpty? No, it definitely doesn't have two spellings. There we go. So that is a mistake I've obviously made in the past, and the alarm bells went off. Anyway, sorry. Let me be quiet. Thank you very much. If you're still with me now, thank you very much. Do remember to like and subscribe. We do appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I really enjoy the comments that we get on this video as well. So do try and leave one if you can. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.